Hello, everybody. How you doing? I'm so glad to be back with you again, even if it's just by way of Facebook Live and virtually. On the other hand, if things are working out, you may well be at home in a comfy chair. I'm at home and comfortable, and there's nothing quite like in person, but this is certainly a good way to go about it, and I'm always happy to do it. It's amazing that just these computers and cameras and Facebook and all that gives us a connection and a reach that we wouldn't ordinarily have. And so I'm maybe a little late in the game, but I'm just now catching the vision that this could be a thing. This could be a great way for me to keep in touch with that hearty band of people who still care about these songs and care about what I'm doing. So I'm getting a few things. People are saying hello already. So let's see. I'm guessing that I am on. Let's see what happens. I'm checking my phone right now to make sure that that hearty band of people who still care about these songs. Facebook on the phone. So let me get rid of that. All right, we'll get this solved here. No problem. This is what live is all about. Does it sound all right now? You know what it might have been? I have a set of speakers, and even though I have them turned down and muted, there may have been some kind of a weird little loop happening between my computer speakers and my microphone, and there is a delay from what I'm broadcasting to what actually, about a 5-second delay, which shows up on Facebook. So, all right, let me see. So where was I? When I'm out here on my own, surrounded and alone, why squander your mercy? As an unfaithful man, can you still find me hiding in the corner? Innocent convict, defiant lamb. I should know better, that's what I'm thinking. Pleading ignorance won't do for me. I'm not mistaken, I'm not misguided. This road I've taken deliberately. So why am I running? I've got excuses, but no good reasons to ease my shame. I am not worthy to live in your household, to be your servant, to bear your name. When I'm out here on my own, haunted by the home that I once knew so well, as a God-fearing man, can you still find me, this great pretender, behind the mask of defiant lamb? I thought my heart would be like a garden where life would spring up from seeds you've sown. But little by little the thorns took over, and now my heart has turned to stone. That's why it's easy to be so careless, betray this birthright from above, to curse my reflection in the mirror, hurting someone you truly love. When I'm out here on my own, in this valley of dry bones, my prayers are mirages, my faith it's just a scam. Can you still find me? Is there a road home for a bankrupt believer, defiant land? When I'm out here on my own, a defiant land. Here we go. Alrighty. Hold on just a minute here. I'm checking a couple devices. Sorry, folks. So is it closer now, folks? I'm sorry. I've got to kind of figure out. Okay, now someone told me the audio is a tiny bit ahead of the video, but it's clear. So that just may be the vicissitudes of, I won't mention any countries, Spectrum companies. Spectrum. It might be my internet that is acting up a little bit. Who knows? This is a very imprecise thing we got going here. So I had a couple songs. Now, please understand, those of you here that are commenting and so forth, I'm getting a little bit of what's happening, but I'm probably missing most of it because I have to concentrate on singing. And when I start reading and singing at the same time, as some of you Facebook Live folks who have been with me a couple times before know, I just get off for Clampton. So I've got a couple songs here that I put up to do tonight that have not been on the last couple set lists. Oh wow! Stephen from Australia says it's coming in good, so that's great. That's my bucket list. I want to go to Australia. I have not been. This is some places I really want to go. I've been to Northern Ireland. I want to go to Ireland. Haven't been to Italy. I just want to, and whether I have my guitar in hand or not, I mean, I'd love to go sing everywhere, but. Okay. Oh, wow. A guy says he's listening in his car. That's pretty cool. Maybe don't watch the video. Maybe just listen. Although there's not anything super compelling going on here, but drive safely, won't you? Friends don't let friends listen to Bob Bennett while driving. So, oh, hi, Nancy from Arkansas. How you doing? And Ron is back. Ron Harrington. He now the last couple times Ron has been on, he just cracks me up during the entire thing. So I joked with him that he should perhaps be my Ed McMahon from time to time. Very funny stuff. All right, I'm going to do a song that it's a totally fictional song, but you know, as a songwriter, if I do my job right, even the fictional stories will have some bearing or connection to something that feels real. So this is called Together All Alone. And even as a very young man, and I wrote this as a very young man, the notion that you can be in a room full of people and yet feel so isolated. You know, sometimes you can be, surrounded. And so that's what I was trying to get at in this song. Brian's on the football team, but he's only second string. He's got a locker full of books, but he doesn't know a thing. He never says what's on his mind, like his daddy to the bone. And he's living with the rest of us, together all alone, together all alone. His girlfriend moved away last year to another school in town. She's got her brand new boyfriend, but she sometimes comes around. She bounces his heart like a basketball, and when his folks are not at home, she slaps his hand as they lay on the couch, together all alone, together far away, a shepherd tends his sheep. Days full of grazing, the nights full of sleep. While Brian is in school all day, the old man drives a truck. He says it's a hell of a way to live, but it's a way to make a buck. He rolls home after the house is dark, his heart as cold as a stone, and he lies back to back with his wife in the sack, together all alone, together all alone, and far away a shepherd tends his sheep. All right, Together All Alone. That was from my album Matters of the Heart. Came out in 1982. So just a few years we'll be having the 40th anniversary of that record. Just like this year, I'm celebrating the 40th anniversary of First Things First. Who is that young guy with the endless down to here hairline and the bloated Kenny Loggins good looks? I don't know. I have no idea who that is now. I get to sing his songs, though, which is always a good thing. Oh, wow. Wow. Somebody says they're off to see Chris Christopherson. John, if I had tickets to go see Chris Christopherson, you would see an empty office behind me, and I would be with you. So that's great. Oh, gosh. One of the greats of all time. He's one of those guys that his catalog sends you to songwriting school. Every once in a while people ask me this, and I don't know if anyone's asking now, but I'll go ahead and address it. People ask me who my favorite songwriters are. And I have a tendency to listen to people over the course of time. I'm not only interested in their individual songs, but I'm also interested in their body of work, how their songs develop over time, album to album, how it goes. I think the king and champion of all time of aging gracefully musically in terms of a songwriting sense has got to be Paul Simon. With as much due respect as I have for how incredible James Taylor still is, and there's so many guys, but I mean the guy who is just consistently steps up to the plate, hits the ball out of the park, and then says, "Thank you very much, I'll go work on something else now," has got to be Paul Simon. James Taylor, I pay attention to. Joni Mitchell, how can you not look at that lifelong body of work and just shake your head and say, wonderful, incredible. Dan Fogelberg was very important to me all throughout his lifetime, God rest his soul. David Wilcox, who I first heard in a car driving, listening to the radio in 1989, and then got a hold of what everybody thought was his first album, his second album. And he's a long-distance friend. I don't see him very often at all, but I could walk up to him and not feel funny about saying, "Hi, Dave, how you doing?" Another guy that I just admire the living daylights out of is Pierce Pettis. If you have not checked out his work, you need to run, not walk, to your nearest device and go look up Pierce Pettis and start listening to his music. He's great. I also want to mention, if you don't mind me talking just a little bit more, and then I'll get to some more songs. A week ago today, I was at the Upper Room, one of my favorite venues to not only play at, but also to go to and hear music. And my friend Ron Strand and his hearty band of volunteers makes it all happen at the Upper Room here in Mission Viejo, behind the Orange Curtain in Orange County, California. And I saw Gary Chapman. Now, if you remember, Gary Chapman is an incredible songwriter. He wrote the song My Father's Eyes. That was one of Amy Grant's first hits. He was actually married to Amy for a good long time. That is no longer the case, but as he actually even shared in concert last week, that it's amazing how well that situation, how well everybody gets along with that's just the Lord. When you can have all the weirdness happen and have all the bad feelings and all the attendance stuff that goes with it, and then you get a couple decades down the line and God just does some amazing stuff. That's actually part of my own story now as well. But Gary is an incredible songwriter. I would introduce you to Gary Chapman. It's a little bit further down on my timeline if you go look at it on my Facebook timeline. But if you look down, you can find a song called Everything I Know. And that would be my introduction to Gary Chapman. You listen to that song, and that'll be the ball game. You'll want to hear everything he's ever done, and you'll thank me, and that's okay. I love doing it. The other person I want to talk about real quick, I got a request to tell a little bit about Together All Alone, and I will do that in just a second here. The other person is Madison Cunningham, or Maddie Cunningham, to those who have met her and know her a little bit. This young woman, I can't help it. She makes my heart go pitter-pat, like dad or grandpa. I'm old enough to be her dad or grandpa. And she's 22 years old, but let me tell you, you know how people say they're just an old soul? I'm sorry. In this case, there couldn't be a more apropos description of this young woman and her music. She's a stellar musician. I mean, even if she didn't write one song, you would want to hear her because of the way she plays and the way she sings. That alone is enough to send you scrambling for her music. But the songs that she writes are just so great. Her album to look for, she's got some things that preceded it, and you want to go find. If you go to Spotify, you can find a complete Madison Cunningham list, and you can find everything. But the album that just came out, her debut on Verve Forecast Records, is called Who Are You Now? And check out Pin It Down. Check out, oh gosh, there's so many great songs on this record. So I'm telling you right now. You need to go listen to her. And if you ever run into her, tell her that Bob Bennett sent you. It won't do anything, but it'll make me feel better. Okay, the song Together All Alone, it was a song that was totally made up. I don't know any of the people in these songs except that I created them. So in that sense, I sort of know them. But the notion was that you can, as I mentioned a little bit before I sang the song, and some of you may not have been here, it's possible to feel very much alone even when you're surrounded by other people. Is that not the amazing conundrum of our age, that we are so connected and yet can be so very isolated in the lives that we live? You hate it when old guys do this, but I'm old enough to remember, kids, before we all had phones in our pockets, and it was still the same thing. But I think it was a lot less stark of a contrast between connectedness in one sense and isolation in another sense. I think we live in an age where this is... I remember Mother Teresa was quoted as saying that although she dealt with severe poverty in the streets of Calcutta and places that she opened her missions, she felt as though the United States had its own kind of poverty, and it was a poverty of loneliness and a poverty of disconnectedness. And I think that is prophetic with a capital P. So, alrighty, let me see what I'm going to do next here. Oh yeah, someone mentioned Sincerely Yours by Gary Chapman. Yeah, there's a lot to love with Gary Chapman. But if you haven't heard him, I would listen to a song first called Everything I Know. And then you'll be off to the races. Oh, good. Someone put up a link for... Oh, thank you. John Chan, my friend John in New York, put up a link for Maddie's page. That's very cool. Okay, let me see. I have another song up here I want to do. Sorry I'm doing so much talking tonight. I hope it's okay for me to visit with you like this. I enjoy doing it. Oh yeah, someone, Jim is mentioning Ellis Paul. Yep. I think I saw him live many, many years ago. Yeah, there's lots of great. Ellis Paul is one of those guys. John Gorka. Oh, the other person that I should mention is Pierce's daughter, Grace Pettis. And this is one of those things where, you would think, oh, isn't nepotism a wonderful thing? Well, in this case, the musical DNA has just exploded. And Grace is very much her own woman. She doesn't stand in anyone's shadow, even her esteemed and incredible father's shadow. She is her own woman creatively and artistically. And about 4.5 years ago, I did a thing at Blue Rock with my friend Billy Crockett there in Wimberley outside of Austin. And we did a Christmas-themed evening with Grace, and she is incredible too. Oh, my brother Tim is here. Hi, Tim. Give my love to Marla. Hi, Marla. And all the kiddies. Say hi to all the kiddies for me, won't you? My apartment overlooks the railroad tracks and a city salvage yard across the way. That's where they bring all the broken things. Just like me, they can't throw anything away. Sometimes at night I see the fading flashing lights of the barricades that used to warn the cars. An earthbound astronaut, but I can connect the dots to see the constellations in those stars. Sometimes I can see what's right in front of me. I can hear what's being whispered in my ear. It's not like I planned, but from where I stand, I can see the view from here. I can see the view. There's just one little train that runs by here. Some tanker cars, the occasional caboose. It just follows the track. It can never look back. Me, I don't have the same excuse. Sometimes I can see what's right in front of me. I can hear what's being whispered in my ear. It's not like I planned, but from where I stand, I can see the view from here. I can see the view. The first early morning I heard him, I thought he was a jerk. This guy who whistled through my window as he worked. But now when I hear him, I can't help but wonder why. If that guy can whistle, then why can't I? Sometimes I can see what's right in front of me. I can hear what's being whispered in my ear. It's not like I planned, but from where I stand, I can see the view from here. I can see the view. I can see the view from here. I can see. There we go. The view from here. I think you've got to get a. Was almost gonna do that during the song. Let's not, okay? Saw some names roll by that need to be mentioned, of course. McAnally. I may have told this. I had a chance to hang with him one day, and he's just as nice a guy as you would want him to be, and a consummate songwriter. Again, songwriting school, McAnally. Also, Roby Duke, the late great Roby Duke. If you don't know Roby's music, Robyduke, you need to go find anything you can find by Roby. From his early stuff right on up to the stuff he was doing right when he passed away way too early in December 2007. So somebody else, okay, Billy Crockett, someone's mentioning in terms of, hey, Dale Berg is checking in. He is one of the main movers and shakers behind KNX-FM 93. And for those of you SoCal folks, there was a radio station that ran full throttle in the 70s and 80s, maybe into the early 90s. I'm not remembering correctly, so forgive me for that detail. But KNX-FM had a wonderful, unique sound. They were kind of album-oriented rock and deep cuts before that was ever a format. And they have now brought that back online, and a lot of the same people that were the brains and the heart behind the operation way back when are back on board. And Dale Berg is one of the people that is spearheading that. So if you want to hear some great stuff that I would listen to in the car when I was paying attention to songwriting and paying attention to great music, you can get it streaming on your device, KNX-FM 93. Go check them out. Someone mentioned a couple other songwriters that I missed, and when I kind of glanced at the names, I'm singing the song and I see the names go by, and I'm thinking, I'm singing and I'm thinking, I'll have to remember that. But of course I can't. Gotten a request to talk a little bit about my guitar, and I realize, folks, one of these days I'm going to get a better camera than my Mac, and I love my Mac. I'm a Mac guy, but I want to get a better camera so you can get a little bit fuller view. Not that there's anything to see here with me, but to see the guitar and something like that. So hopefully I'll get a camera where I can do that. But so let me show you. Let me just show you a little bit for you guitar geeks in the crowd. This is a Ryan Cathedral model. Let me get my Kaiser capo off the headstock. This is a Ryan guitar. You can see the stylized R on the headstock. And this guitar, let me show you. If I move it in kind of close, let me see if I can move it in. You can see this incredible inlay. And then I'll show you the back too. I know this is not laboratory conditions, but oh look at you, getting my... That's what my computer looks like in a Ryan guitar. The guitar, it's got this bevel here in it, which is very, very cool. And the flutes, or the little ports, I think Kevin calls them flutes. I guess, sometimes imitation is a form of flattery, but not a real good one. And, Kevin invents all these very cool things, and then other people sort of, borrow them without credit, which is not cool at all. But apparently, when you make something that great, you know what? Somebody mentioned, my friend David mentioned, that also a great songwriter and a friend of mine is a guy that I did a concert with last week, Billy Batstone. We did a house concert in his backyard, and we did a set up a laptop, let it roll, Facebook Live thing. It was a pretty low tech affair. But we thought it might be fun just to capture what we were doing. And I think that if I were a worship congregational songwriter, I would want to have the want to have the type of sensibility that Billy has in his songs. With all due respect to all the new guys that you know and love and are at the top of the CCLI charts and all that, Batstone has got a passel of incredible songs that I admire. I sing. We're actually, last week we did a thing, and next week together in a friend's backyard, we're doing a live backyard concert between me and Billy. So we trade off songs and play on each other's tunes, and it's really a cool kind of thing. So, someone mentioned Sarah Groves. My Sarah Grove story is this. Back when Sarah had just completed her first album or was about to, I mean, this would have been like 99 or 98, something like that. A friend of mine brought me to the greater St. Paul area, greater Minneapolis, St. Paul area. And he was doing an in-the-round concert with myself, Pierce Pettis, my hero and friend, and this woman that I'd never heard of, this young woman named Sarah Groves. And of course, when we did the in-the-round stuff, we did, I was just astonished. I mean, she just was, you know, a little like Maddie, a little like Grace. I mean, you think, how is this kind of stuff coming out of this person? How has she crammed so much full and wonderful and insightful living into that small amount of years and then made him come out in the great songs? Of course, Sarah's only gotten better over time, and her body of work is so distinctive. And now, I mean, that was probably the first and last time I'll ever share a stage with her. I'm not trying to be negative or anything. I'm just saying she's really doing stuff and really out there playing and singing. And so I'm just proud that way back I had a chance to encourage her. And my advice to her was, I just said, people are going to find out about you. They're going to love you. The CCM industry is going to love you and want you. Just don't let them steal your heart. Do what you have to do to get your music out there and make whatever bargains you need to make, but just don't let them steal your heart, because your heart is so great. Oh, you know what? Hey, Dwayne Everarts. He is the publisher of Guitar Show magazine. I don't mind giving a plug for that, because about all things guitar. So that's pretty cool. Thank you, Dwayne. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, someone is mentioning that Phil Keaggy played bass on a Wilcox album. That's right. How would you like to have one of the best guitar players in the world come and apply his skills to bass playing on your album? And you know, guys like me, did I say the wrong thing? My wife, I'm getting a text here. I may have misidentified you, Dwayne, editor and publisher, or at least editor of the magazine. Sorry if I misspoke. Imagine, you know, I play bass like a guitar player. I'm terrible at it. I really am. But, you know, guys like Billy, of course, that's his, you know, one of his main thing. I mean, he plays guitar incredible too, but he plays bass incredible. And then Phil, you know, plays the same way. So they know how to make the transition from 6 strings to 4, and they know what they're doing. Oh man, oh that's good. I'm seeing a hi to Honey Tree again. Well, thank you so much for checking back in. It's such an honor to have you again. We've got to run into each other. We have to work out the flimsiest of excuses to run into each other and hang out, and maybe play a little music and stuff. So I'm just always, for those of you who don't know your history, Honey Tree was one of the small cast of characters that invented this genre that we are now still working in. I don't know that I'd consider myself a CCM industry kind of guy anymore, because it's moved in a whole different direction. But for people who want their faith to infuse their work, and want, you know, to honor the Lord that way. And I mean, there are even people who, I don't want to misspeak her, because then you're going to be, I have my inner debate, Bob Bennett, that always says, well, you know, you just said this, and then they're going to think that you meant that. And so I trust you know what I mean without unpacking all of the ins and outs of creativity. I happen to think people that don't even know the Lord and are doing creative things are actually giving glory to God. They just don't know it yet. And so that's one man's opinion. You can take that or leave it. Okay, someone's asking for, oh, my friend Wally. Hi, Wally is mentioning Tommy Walker. Oh yeah, he's one of those guys too. We had a Matthew Ward mention here. Yeah, I did my first my first meeting and gig with Matthew Ward, I think it was back in March. My friend Paul Aldrich in Nashville, who hosts Paul Aldrich and Friends, a concert series there. If you're in the greater Nashville, you do not know about that. You need to know about that. Paul Aldrich and Friends. You can Google that. Someone is asking me if I have perfect pitch. Some nights better than others. My old joke is some nights I will have times where I'm trying to tune my guitar and I can't get it. And then I'll say something like, this is the time now where I hope that I wake up in a cold sweat in my own bed, like having a nightmare, because I'm in front of an audience trying to get my guitar to behave. All right. Hey! My friend Mila is checked in. Hi, Mila. Mila is one of the few humans who is completely authorized to call me Bobby, because that's how she met me. She met me when I was Bobby. I've sung in mountain cathedrals with steeples rising high and altars made of evergreen and windows made of sky and windows made of sky. I've dreamed of stars in the heavens and starfish in the sea and wondered how the heart of God could care so much for me, could care so much for me. Well, I've never been a strong man, at least outside the skin, and I'm eager and afraid at the same time to move from where I've been, to move from where I've been. And all right. Mountain Cathedrals. Oh, let me get a little... Oh, hi, my friend Lisa is asking if I'm working on new music. I am. Don't have enough of it yet. It's a little slower going than I wish it was. Some of that is due to operator error on my part. Oh, I got a request from... I got to do this request because the guy who requested it was the second engineer on the album that it appears on. So I will do that all the time. My friend Wally Grant is... known him forever and a day. And for the first 4 albums or so, the album was not really officially happening until Wally was there. Someone was asking what's in my clear bottle. Water. It's water. Oh my. This song Madness Dancing came about because I just got tired, even as a young guy. And I think this is the bane of our existence as the Church of Jesus. We just insist on making mountains out of molehills. Sometimes we take the weightier parts of the gospel and we leave them aside, or we don't pay attention, and then we major on the minors. And how many people, I know I did, how many people went through a period where they got rid of all of their albums that weren't specifically Jesus records. And all of a sudden you sort of grew up and matured and realized, there's some things there that I can probably still listen to. That everybody is different, by the way. Just like some people can have, some people can go to the stadium and have a beer with their hot dog, and other people, perhaps that's not a good idea for you. So I think there's some leeway and latitude in these things. When it comes to music, it's the same thing. If listening to Led Zeppelin makes you want to go get loaded and do all kinds of bad BC stuff, then by all means don't do it. But anyway, there's a lot that I could talk about. Can you tell I talk? But I'll play the song. It's called Madness Dancing. This madness I am dancing, though I'm not sure why just now. I tried to be sober, I tried to be logical, but I could not stop my feet. I know I have not turned off my mind, I know there's evil all around, but for now it's outside, and I'm in my room. Joy is like a crashing tide. I don't want to burn no books, don't want to argue rock and roll. I don't want to shoot anyone with my high-powered doctrine gun. Let the madness roll on like a savage beast, but no one will miss me for a half an hour. This morning and woke me, and as I listened, then I found that now I was not alone. I was standing, moving, dancing on holy ground. I don't want to burn no books, don't want to argue rock and roll. I don't want to shoot anyone with my high-powered doctrine gun. Let the madness roll on like a savage beast, 'cause no one will miss me, no one will miss me, no one will miss me for In the middle of this madness I am dancing. All right. Oh, someone just remarked, Brian, this is the best concert I've ever been to. Where's the t-shirt table? Oh, if only there was one. Pardon me. Because doggone it, those plastic digital discs are not going so much anymore, by golly. So I always... I used to joke back in the day because different kinds of merchandise would start showing up on the table. People had, bookmarks and, things you might see in a Christian bookstore were winding up on artist tables and T-shirts and that sort of thing. And I always joked that I wanted to do Matters of the Heart sauna pants, so you could wear them and then lose weight, but no one would know you were. Well, anyway, it's a product idea that never happened, but I certainly thought about it. I know. It's an image you can't really get out of your head, is it? You see here. I think I have one more song. Hold on. I'm clicking around. I threw up some lyrics here on my Mac just in case because I have so much fun reading commentary. And sometimes I space on the lyrics, so I give myself a little cheat sheet here. Well, while we're on... let me retune here a little bit. Hi, Charlie from Florida. How you doing? Someone is asking how often I do these live streams. About once a month now. I'm starting to do them, but I'm trying to think whether or not there might be an argument to maybe do them once a week, but then figure out a way to maybe take phone calls or have guests or highlight other subjects so that it's just in a half hour or 45 minutes with me, and I'll throw 2 or 3 songs in, and then we'll do other stuff. So way back in the day, I used to co-host a radio show with Dan Ruppel on KBRT here in Southern California, and so I've never lost my love of sort of hosting and asking questions and having fun with the audience and stuff. So I wonder if that might be, rather than just strictly concerts and me sort of doing this, maybe to have more of an interactive thing with the audience too. So we'll see. Someone asked me how my knee was doing. I was having some real knee troubles about a few months back, and it was a good 6 months of ouch, what happened? I'm middle-aged. And I'm happy to say that is mostly gone now. I'm still feel that stuff every once in a while, but mostly good. I'm not using the cane or different things like that. I'm just able to get along. So, pardon me. This is a song that I co-wrote. I actually only added a couple lines to it, but I co-wrote with my friend Mick Aguilar, then known as Mike. He changed his name and now is known as Mick Aguilar, only because the company that he worked at had about 4 or 5 Mikes in his division. And he said, well, I'm a musician. I'll just change my name to Mick. And so that's how many, many people know him as Mick Aguilar. And I know him as Mike back in the day. But he wrote this song along with the late John Fowler. Was just a wonderful songwriter. And when I first heard this song, I thought, I have a couple ideas. Can I get in on that? And they let me in on it at the very end. So. Oh yes, yes to Bert's question. I will mention it. In fact, I'll do that right now while I'm tuning. But Bert, here's the part that I'm embarrassed about. I don't have the name of the venue memorized. So you can text that in your comment and let people know where they can go, or put the link. And it's a Bert Midyett is who I'm talking about, who's in the comment thread. I'm going to be playing in Tryon, North Carolina on Saturday, October 12th. And I'll post that information. After the concert tonight, I will get a hold of that information and post it for you and add it also to my website for you to figure that out. And I apologize. He's asking me to mention something that I'm doing, and I myself am slightly behind in all of the details that I need to know. So Tryon, North Carolina, which I understand is in the southern part of North Carolina. So I'm hoping to spend a weekend, if not two, moving around the Carolinas and playing. Daddy was an honest, hard-working man with bad eyesight and calloused hands. He married young and he made a stand. In 1951, well, it was worn-out pants and pinto beans, minimum wage and mustard greens. But he treated Mama just like a queen. In 1951, in 1951, both of them lovers and both of them young. There were clouds in the skies, but stars in their eyes. In 1951, she called him Mister, he called her hun. In 1951. Sometimes I'd hear my daddy sigh. Mama would cry on his shoulder. Whenever I would ask them why, they say you'll know when you're older. But they pray for rain in summer and give thanks in the fall. I've seen the pictures, I've seen them all. Even on their knees they look so tall. In 1951, in 1951, both of them lovers and both of them young. There were clouds in the skies, but stars in their eyes. In 1951, she called him Mister, he called her hun. In 1951, in 1951. All right, that's 1951. I was asked if there was a backstory, other than the backstory of the writing, which I covered before I sang it. It started out with John and Mike, and we actually we chose the year 1952 because it sang better. We actually tried 1951, 53, 54. We were kind of messing around because we knew we needed to have a year, and 1951. I'm sorry, 1951 sang better than all the years surrounding it. So that's why we did it. And the reason that I recorded this song, even though it's not quite autobiographical, is that I felt like it had a real everyman kind of quality about it, about honoring your parents and the sacrifices they made. And for those of us who were fortunate enough to grow up in good homes with parents who did stay together and did the right thing all the way through, were able to do that. We're grateful for that. I'm not saying that in judgment of anybody. I'm a guy who caused a broken home myself. So I would certainly not be casting stones by saying that. But for those of us who are fortunate enough to have intact families and so forth, I thought that song broke off a piece of that pretty well. So, I've got a request for a James Taylor song. Let's see. Well, the sun is surely sinking down, and the moon is slowly rising, and this old world still keeps turning around, but I still love you. And close your eyes, you can close your eyes, it's all right. Okay, that's all I can remember. Who doesn't know? I mean, I know James Taylor songs, and I still listen to him faithfully. What a great artist. Let's see. Oh, I used to do House at Pooh Corner. I'll try to come up with some creative cover versions that I can do from old songs that I used to do. I used to do House at Pooh Corner like 40 years ago, and I just remember someone requested Freebird. I'm surprised. Freebird or Whippin' Post by the Allman Brothers. Those are the twin things where the lighters are out, and he goes, Freebird! Anyway. All right. Let's see. I'm looking. Okay, I got a request for Redeemer. I'll go ahead and do that if you don't mind. There's so many requests coming through. I'm going to disappoint somebody, so please forgive me. I do have 2 prior sets of Facebook Live on in both in June and July of this year, and if you hunt them up on YouTube, you can find them. I did a good array of songs. Now I realize this is about the fun of requesting and back and forth and all that, so I'm not trying to be evasive by saying, just go catch a recording of me. You can, I'm just saying, but there are versions of me doing exactly this with some of the songs that are being mentioned tonight, so I won't be able to get to all of them. I know that my Redeemer lives. What comfort this sweet sentence gives. He lives who once was dead. He lives, my ever-living head. Triumphant from the grave, he lives eternally to save. He lives my mansion to prepare. He lives to lead me safely there. And grants me daily breath. He lives and I shall conquer death. He lives and while he lives I'll sing. He lives my prophet, priest and king. All glorious same. He lives, my Jesus, still the same. And oh, the sweet joy this sentence gives. I know that my Redeemer lives. I know that my Redeemer lives. Amen. One of the classics of the faith. I cannot let that name roll by without saying hello to my friend Jerry Root. Jerry, I don't know where you are, whether you're back home in Wheaton, but I am just so happy that you're here. Folks, if you get on Amazon.com and Google Jerry Root, R-O-O-T, you're going to find a bunch of books. I'm sure you can find sermons and messages online and stuff. Among the many things that Jerry knows, and he knows lots of stuff, he knows more about, he's forgotten more about C.S. Lewis than most of us know. That's how that phrase goes. He's forgotten more than most of us know. And but what's really good is folks like Jerry and Malcolm Guite and different friends that I have that are really, really learned people. They don't walk into the room and go, you know what? I'm the smartest guy in the room, even though it's clear that they are. They're very generous with guys like me. And let me hang around and learn stuff, and I get to ply my trade sometimes in the room with them, and they like that, and then they get to ply their trade with poetry or with lectures or things like that that feed me and make me a better person as a result of that. So just a big hug and big love to Jerry and Claudia Root, wherever you may be this night. Let's see. Wait a minute. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I got a request here. I'm looking in two different places for messages. Okay, I'm going to do that at the very end. I'm going to sign off in a very unadventurous way. Well, no, I'll do it now. I was going to sign off tonight the same way I signed off last time. Someone requested Singing for My Life, and I'd like to do that song for them. Folks, I don't think I'm telling you anything that you don't already know. I'm great at being Captain Obvious, but when I have a guitar in my hand and I'm singing and I'm playing, this is the version of me that I like the best. I wish I could be this guy all the time. Somewhat confident and communicative and helpful. But the other 22, 23 hours of my life, I am the poster boy for imperfection, as I put on my Facebook description. And I'm an underachiever in many, many things. But for my whole life, I've loved doing this. I'm one of the few men who can say, I am doing the one thing that I always wanted to do, the one thing that I love. Who gets to say that sentence? In fact, I'm trying to write a song about that, about the fact that I think our culture has it backwards, that the real heroes are the people who are living lives that are not the lives that they envisioned for themselves. They're not living the dream. The song is called A Living Plan B. And I want to do it right, so it's not ready for prime time yet. I'd play a little bit of it, but it's just not ready for prime time yet. But anyway, so all of that to say, I'm just so happy to be able to do this for you. And so I don't think I'm supposed to tell you just how much this means to me. How I can't uncross the lines between this thing I do and the man I'm supposed to be. There's a question in the back of my mind. Who knows what is really true? I sing these songs and you listen to me, but who's doing the favor for who? And I am singing for my am singing, singing, singing for my life now. It seems almost all of my life I've held on to this piece of wood, and sometimes I am tempted to think it's the only time that I can do any good. Sometimes when I stand up to play, I am a lonely and desperate man. These songs are the only prayers I can pray, so I sing them just as hard as I can. And I am singing for my life. I am singing, singing, singing for my life now. And in the middle of the congregation, voices are raised and hearts are pure. I carry a deep, dark secret. Even now I am so unsure. And then I pray, oh Lord, come and tear me apart. May the words in my mouth fall to my heart and remind me why I live and breathe. Is it not to know you? Is it not to believe? Then I am singing for my life. I am singing, singing, singing for my life now. Oh, I am singing for my life. I am singing, I am singing, singing for my life now. Oh, I am singing for my life now. Oh, I am singing for my life now. Right. Had a request for this. I did not write this song. The words are anonymous. They date, I believe, from the mid-17th century, or thereabouts. The musical setting, which I am going to defile a little bit here, was written by Elizabeth Poston in the 1940s. And this is my arrangement of Jesus Christ the Apple Tree. Sorry. The tree of life my soul has seen, laden with fruit and always green. The tree of life my soul has seen, laden with fruit and always green. The trees of nature fruitless be, compared with Christ the apple tree. His beauty doth all things excel. By faith I know, but ne'er can tell. His beauty doth all things excel. By faith I know, but ne'er can tell. The glory which I now can see Jesus Christ, the apple tree. For happiness I long have sought, and pleasures dearly I have bought. For happiness I long have sought, and pleasures dearly I have bought. I missed of all, but now I see 'tis found in Christ the apple tree, which makes my soul in haste to be with Jesus Christ, the apple tree. The apple tree. All right, Jesus Christ, the apple tree. From KBOB, all Bob Bennett music all the time. That sounds terrible to say it, doesn't it? Oh, we got some back and forth about Maddy Cunningham. I mentioned her earlier. If you've checked in late, run, don't walk to find anywhere you can music by Madison Cunningham. Her new album just came out about a week ago, maybe a week and a half. Slightly longer, slightly shorter. I can't remember. I just know that I've been listening to it constantly. And it's called Who Are You Now? And you just need to go hear this young woman sing. It will. I just told her outright. I know it sounds kind of creepy to say it, but I told her one night at a small gathering where she was playing, I just said, look, I'm going to go be with Jesus one of these days. I'm not going to last forever. Let's face it, under the best of circumstances. And when it comes to great songwriting and singing and heart and soul and communication and musicianship and all that stuff, the franchise is in very good hands if we're leaving it to you. So I just wanted to be a little blessing to her, and I hope it was. I have a tendency to wax effusive sometimes when and at a certain point it's hard for me to separate my love for the music with my love for the person who made the music. So I'm already on my way to that with her. But pardon me just a second here. Okay, so we got a bunch of stuff coming in here. Alrighty. Oops. Hey, the Johnstons from Portland. My family from Portland. Hi, Johnstons. How you doing? Do I have a favorite Larry Norman song? You know, I don't have a favorite Larry Norman song, but I did cover a Larry Norman song. I did a record almost 9 years ago now with my pal Billy Batstone and my pal Alex McDougall. The record is under Batstone, Bennett, McDougall, just all hyphenated, Batstone, Bennett, McDougall. It's called Jesus Music Again. And we did a cover of UFO, and I wrote a coda to UFO. My idea was, if you've had 40 years of Jesus is coming back imminently and he's not back, do you panic? No, you do not. You double down and you concentrate on being found doing what you're supposed to be doing, so that whether he comes back in a minute or a gazillion minutes, you're keeping the faith properly. That's, I think, if there's anything about the study of the end times, I think it's to energize us to occupy well while we're still here. It's for us to concentrate on that. So, okay, let me see here. I've got... Sandy, I know. I'll answer you privately, Sandy. Oh gosh, I know. I'm a bad man. Oh man, I haven't played Spiritual Equation in so long. I don't even know if I could do it. But I'm kind of game. Hold on just a second. Let me call up something here and see if I can get it to work. Pardon me just a second while I do computer biz. Okay, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm touching the mic here while I'm doing this, which is not good form at all. Okay, I have not played this song. This is a freebie. I mean, I know it's all a freebie, but you know what I mean. This doesn't count. This doesn't count against the song total. Now, this eventually wound up as a bonus track on First Things First, but it was not part of the original lineup of songs. And in fact, the song was recorded much earlier, and it did not have the really swinging, cool Hadley Hawkins-Smith electric guitar that was overdubbed on it later. It was just kind of an acoustic, extravaganza, as my stuff had a tendency to be at times. So this was actually, if you asked me, Bob, when you got serious about the Christian faith and you were 22 years old and you had your Good News for Modern Man and you was all excited and everything was brand new and the Bible was brand new, what's the first song that you wrote? This is the first one. I wrote a song about the Trinity. Go figure. I just thought I'd start in the shallow end of the pool, subject-wise. So let me see if I can. Do it. There was a time when I was so confused about the Trinity. I would always stop and wonder why the Father works in threes. So I prayed to the Lord for an answer, and I'm glad that He made me see that the reason He loves in triplicate is because He cares for me. I thank the Father for what He's planned. I pray to Jesus to take my hand. I seek the Spirit to make us stand, so that I might walk in the light. He multiplied His goodness to make me whole. Sent Jesus to regain my soul. Charge that the Spirit should take control. It's a spiritual equation. 3 + 1 is right. Like an apple, it's cut into pieces. It's still gonna taste the same. Just because it's 3 instead of 1, but you still call the fruit by its name. So the Lord in His infinite wisdom has given us 3 ways to call, and we won't be confused by the fruit of His love as long as we eat it all. I thank the Father for what He's planned. I pray to Jesus to take my hand. I seek the Spirit to make us stand, so that I might walk in the light. He multiplied His goodness to make me whole. Sent Jesus to regain my soul. Charge that the Spirit should take control. It's a spiritual equation where 3 + 1 is right. Maybe a solid B version of Spiritual Equation, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't done that for a long, long time. Okay. Oh, by the way, it's hard to miss because it's right along the bottom of the screen. I don't mean that to be in any way kind of like a money grubbing type of operation, like, hey, but I'm a working man, and so just if I were playing in a coffee house or something, There might be a little tip jar. There might be an open guitar case, whatever. So this is just a digital version of that. And if that's not for you tonight, no worries, folks. This is not any kind of a guilt trip thing. What I do mean to say is there are some folks that have contributed to this over the last couple of weeks that I have not yet gotten to in terms of sending a thank you. And please know that these are not lost on me, and you will be getting something from me in the not too distant future. Wait a minute. My tip jar's not up? Well, you know what? Someone might have, it's paypal.me/Bob Bennett Music. So if someone quoted it differently than that, it might be, it's paypal.me/Bob Bennett Music. So somebody check that. And I'm not asking you to go there, but if someone could check that and make sure the link is still working, I'd appreciate that. It's paypal.me/Bob Bennett Music, all squished together. Okay, so it is there. So if you got a 404, is that right? A 404 error message? Do I have my internet lingo correct? If you got an error message, then thank you for visiting there, and thank you for you folks that are doing that. I don't have any idea what's going on right now. I pressed end and then I go look and get all excited, but I have no idea what's going on right now. But thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. Oh, you know what? Also, I want to say, if you would like to email me privately to ask me questions or any ideas that you have, or you're interested in content information, you can go to the contact form on my website. It's not seen by anybody but me. There is a contact form at bobbennett.com. That's bobbennett.com. Or you can email me at bob@bobbennett.com. Just Bob Bennett all smushed together. And I'll do my best to tap out a couple lines in answer to whatever comes, unless you're just yanking my chain, and then I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. So we'll find out. All right, let me think here. Well, you know what? We're almost coming up on an hour and a half. So traditionally, this is my last song, unless I get all excited and do more. And I wanted to do this. I did this with Billy last weekend. We've got some people checking in from BC, and I saw a fellow from Australia. I think somebody may have been checking in from South Africa. I don't know. I love the internet. The other thing I'm going to do, and let me know if you have friends who might be interested. I'm thinking about doing something like at 9 or 10 in the morning California time, so that people in Europe and other time zones who might be, even if it's just 10 or 12 people, I don't mind. People who might want to do an evening thing like this, but it's 3 or 4 in the morning for them, and they're just not that dedicated. So had a little feedback that I'm blurry right now, so I'm not quite sure. Could be my internet connection is messing up. So anyway, I did this. I interrupted my own train of thought. This is a song that I did last weekend with Bill Batstone, and it's from Bruce Cockburn. It's one of my favorite songs of his, and so I'll just play it tonight. All the diamonds in this world that mean anything to me are conjured up by wind and sunlight sparkling on the sea. I ran aground in a harbor town, lost the taste for being free. Thank God he sent some gull-chased ship to carry me to sea. 2,000 years and half a world dying trees still grow greener when you pray. Silver scales flash bright and fade in reeds along the shore, like a pearl in a sea of liquid jade. His ship comes shining like a crystal swan in a sky of suns. His ship comes shining. Is that not one of the most beautiful and sublime songs you've ever heard? That's why I've been listening both with great admiration and sometimes a little professional jealousy to Bruce Cockburn for many, many years. He just writes those kinds of songs. I would say that his encouragement, along with my friend Erick Nelson, Cockburn encouraged me from the turntable to sort of go for it lyrically, to kind of sort of just crack open the strictures and kind of go for it as best I know how, as best as I can for my personality. So, someone did. Oh, that's right. You know what? I want to mention something real quick. My friend Wally Grant is going to be moving with the lovely Mrs. Grant to Uganda at the beginning of next year. They have had a very strong and clear call to move to Uganda. So if you're interested in that and finding out if you know Wally, but you don't know that, then do one of two things. Either reestablish contact with him if you know how to do so, or get a hold of me and I'll put you in touch and you can get the scoop. Although it would be too polite to say anything about it, I would imagine that at some point there will be a way to support his work there and just like you do with missionaries. And so if you know and love Wally, you're eventually going to want to get on board with wherever that train is headed. Oh, and for those of you, for Bruce Cockburn, it's spelled, I think it's a French-Canadian spelling. It's Cockburn, pronounced Cockburn, spelled Cockburn. That's if you drive yourself nuts trying to find him, unless you spell his name correctly, but... Oh, come on! Oh, I beg to differ, my good friend. Somebody recently went to a Marc Cohn concert and they were remarking that he doesn't hold a candle to me. I'm sorry, I beg to differ. I love Marc Cohn. And if all you've ever heard is Walking from Memphis, oh, folks, you're missing tons and tons and tons of great material. You need to just go out and listen to everything he's ever done. Honestly, I've listened to almost every note I can find of his. He just did a live album with a couple studio cuts of the Blind Boys of Alabama. But he wrote the song. I mean, kind of like Stephen Bishop. Stephen Bishop is known for On and On. But if you are fortunate and you're persistent, you can look over the entire catalog of Stephen Bishop's work and find the most incredible songs, album after album, time after time. On and On is the tip of the iceberg that everybody can see, but the iceberg below it is incredible, such incredible. Pardon me. Oh my. And the same thing with Marc Cohn. There are certain people that they only know the tip of the iceberg that is Walking in Memphis. And to have a song like that to your name, come on, get out of town. I'd give up my entire catalog just to have that one song, honestly. But his songs are so great, and he is. So anyway, I'm sorry, my dear friend. I had to dispute that for just a minute. I got to thank you for letting me know that Cockburn is actually Scottish-Canadian. Man, so many artists. Steve Bell, Carolyn Aarons, and then, Joni Mitchell, Neil Young. Canada, and I'm not just saying this because I love Canada, and we have dear friends there, and I love my Timbits. But I don't know if it's like because of the weather or what the case may be, but Canada has... This artist came along, broke the mold, and there's no one else like them in the universe but them. Like, where's your second Leonard Cohen? It's not going to happen. Canada? Why, yes, Canada. So it's someone asked for an Erick Nelson update. Erick is not doing music anymore, but he lives and works as a computer programmer. And I think he still writes occasionally and stuff. He's not out performing. Oh, man. What's the deal with this coughing tonight? I'm so sorry you have to hear all this. Excuse me just a minute. But that early Erick Nelson music was really... Both his music and the man were mentors to me in so many ways. So I got sidetracked by Erick Nelson, and I was on Canada, but let's face it, folks. I mean, look up Canadian artists, and then just look at the list. You could fill your entire record collection without going to any other country just by doing that. And also, although he was British, he did most of his work in Canada. For liturgical music, Healey Willan shows up a lot in the Anglican hymnal. And he was an organist and I think he worked at a church in Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. Forgive me for not knowing that. But his name is Healey, Healey, Willan, Willan. And some of those beautiful settings that we sing Sunday after Sunday in church belong to a Canadian. All right. I think I should have dual citizenship now, and I think I should get free Timbits upon request. What do you think? I'm going to close out with this song, folks. Somebody requested "Angels Around Your Bed." It's a lullaby that I wrote for my kids. But since whatever time zone, if you're in the Pacific or Eastern time zone or the Maritimes or whatever, you're within shouting distance of bedtime. So I'll leave you with this one. Oh, tonight I'm so far away from you. How I wish I could suddenly be there to tell you I love you like 100 times before, to hold you and to stroke your hair. But I'm in another time zone altogether, where sleep is not easily found, and a split-second prayer escapes into the air, and I pray as you lay your body down, there'd be angels around your bed, little darling, angels around your bed. You'll be safe from harm at the dying of the day, with angels around your bed. Well, absence makes my heart grow fonder. When you're out of sight, I'm out of my mind. But if you could see everything around you, I wonder, would you be surprised to find there are angels around your bed, little darling, Angels around your bed, laughing and singing, joyful as you're sleeping. Angels around your bed. Angels around your bed, little darling. Angels around your bed. Surely the Lord can spare a few extra angels around your bed. Angels around your bed. Oh, angels around your bed. Well, there we have it. Angels around your bed. Everybody, thank you so much for checking in tonight, for your very kind comments. I know I've missed an awful lot. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I just got a message. Let me interrupt myself for 1 second. Someone asked about background vocals on the recording. That was David Wilcox. I actually drew him into the studio in early 1991 in Austin, Texas, and got him to sing on 3 songs. So it's David Wilcox. That David Wilcox. I know. Cool, huh? Anyway, all right. If you're interested in hosting me at your church, or doing a house concert, or having me live stream something to your church, or doing a private concert for your family, all of these things are now doable with similar to what I'm doing right now, or my ability, one guy, one guitar, to get on a plane and travel someplace. So this is my job, and I love doing my job, and I don't like to look at an empty calendar in front of me. That's no bueno for your buddy. So if you would like to help me fill that calendar up, I would love to do it, whether it's here in my office singing, or out and about in person. I love doing this, and I would love to do it for you. Again, there's a contact form on the website, bobbennett.com. That's BOBBENNETT.com. There's a contact form there, or you can email me at bob@bobbennett.com. Although you're welcome to leave stuff on Facebook Messenger, I will always push you to kind of put it over to email or something through Facebook. I don't get along well with Facebook Messenger. I use it, but I'm a reluctant user, and I will certainly accept your message, read it, respond as I can. But if we're going to have a back and forth, I'll probably switch you over to email or something different, because I like to exist outside the Facebook universe when it comes to those kinds of communications. So anyway, thank you guys so much again. I appreciate it. I have a person who's helping me tonight, Bird Dog, the comments and things like that. I want to say an anonymous thank you to that anonymous person, and who wants to remain anonymous. And I'll see you perhaps in a month, okay? If not sooner. Thank you very much. God bless you. And as I always say on my albums, so I again say tonight about the Lord Jesus Christ. Praises be to the healer of my life. Good night.